tired of really being a national punchline for late-night comedians. If anybody needed a cheap laugh, they'd tell a joke about Cleveland. Well, that all changed because of the perception of the city of Cleveland changed due to the ballpark and due to that ball club. The Indians were no longer a laughing stock. They were no longer hapless. They no longer played in a dump off Lake Erie. They played in one of the palaces of baseball. They had the best team in baseball, and the city downtown was reinventing itself, and I think the national perception changed on Cleveland, and I don't think fans here really cared what anybody thought about Albert Bell as long as he was wearing an Indians uniform and hitting 50 home runs. They didn't care. He was their guy, and the national perception of the ball club might have been a little negative, but really at the end of the day, who cares? This was a ball club that entertained the people of Cleveland and Northeast Ohio, and if other people around the country didn't like it, again, who cares?
Entertain is the word. It was the one era, and I know Hammy was on the radio calling it, but it didn't matter because you didn't need to listen to the game, watch the game, or anything to know if the Indians won. All you had to do was listen for the horns out the window anywhere around town every night throughout that season. It was just it was magical. It was special. I ask guys this a lot, Tom. You were in there, and you may know how much closer some of these things came to happening or not. Indians on the verge. You've got 2 runs at the World Series there in that period that we're talking about. Was there the one move that they didn't make or anything in your thought that would have put any of those teams over the top that they were close to, or boy, I really wish they would have been able to do this that would have finished off what they were trying to accomplish there?
Well, I mean, you can always look at a lot of woulda, coulda, shouldas. They tried desperately to get Curt Schilling from the Philadelphia Phillies, and I thought, and I think the Indians thought it was going to be a done deal. And, I think that obviously would have put the team over the top, and then Curt Schilling said no, that he didn't want the trade. And so, who knows how that would have turned out, but I think it's been proven that Curt Schilling became one of the great postseason pitchers ever in baseball, and I think without question that would have meant a difference for Cleveland and probably would have resulted in a World Series championship. They looked very hard at making trades for Randy Johnson or even signing him as a free agent. And back then in those days, there were questions how long he would last because he had a bad back. And, so I think there are some of those that in hindsight, you wished you would have been able to make the deal. But, I think sometimes there are second thoughts, when they had a chance at free agency. They signed Jack McDowell, not Kevin Brown. But at the time, Jack McDowell was a bigger winner than was Kevin Brown. Kevin Brown had some baggage that came with him, and he hadn't become the Kevin Brown we would later see, especially up close and personal, even though the Indians beat him twice in the 97 World Series. So you're always going to have that, but I think, what hurt the Indians in those days is, they had a very good pitching staff, but when you got into October baseball, they sometimes were hurt by not having that one dominant guy.
All right, guys, I got to jump in right there. I know he's rocking and rolling, so are we. But we've got to take a break, got to get these spots in. Don't go anywhere. Sit right where you're at. Perfect time now to go tell somebody else to tune in because we're starting to roll downhill on this bad boy. More with Indians voice Tom Hamilton. More with Carlos Baerga, second baseman of those legendary Indians teams, and so much more when we come back. Don't go anywhere. You are listening to a very special Christmas present for Indians fans. Best of edition of the Sports Fix.
The Sports Fix, your choice for intelligent talk.
That was wonderful.
Bravo!
I loved that.
Oh, it was great.
Intelligent talk.
Well, it was pretty good.
Well, it wasn't bad.
Well, there were parts of it that weren't very good,
It
though.
could have been a lot better.
I didn't really like it.
These guys must be on the wrong station.
It was pretty terrible.
It was bad.
It was awful.
It was
Get
terrible.
him away!
Hey, boo!
Boo!
The Sports Fix.
Guys, want to take just a second as we head into this break and remind you about the official business printing source of the Sports Fix, our friends at Signs and Ship. Signs and Ship, I'm telling you, Chris and Pam, they've taken care of me since day one, and they can do the same for you. Whether you're a small business that's already been established and you're looking to grow to that next level and expand your business, or perhaps you've got an idea that you just know is going to be a great business and you need to figure out how to brand it and how to promote it and put it out there, Signs and Ship is the place for you. If you need a logo, they can create one for you. They have a fantastic graphic designer. Business cards, signs, banners, yard signs, mobile advertising, anything you can think of that you need to promote your business, they've got it at Signs and Ship. The best thing about them, too, is each of their locations, whether it's the home base here in Elyria, Ohio that I work with, or their spots in Virginia, Florida, and Pennsylvania, it's all local sourced. Very important to me because we all understand that small business is the lifeblood of the community. So check them out, signsandship.com, or call Chris and Pam today, 440-323-6060, the home office in Elyria, Ohio. Signs and Ship, quality printing at affordable prices.
Portions of the Sports Fix brought to you by Fantasy Jocks. Looking to upgrade your league trophy? Check out fantasyjocks.com for championship belts, rings, trophies, and more. Football season is party season at Harry Buffalo North Olmsted. Everyone wins at Harry Buffalo. Every Saturday is Coors Light College Football Saturday with $6 pitchers, 4 bottles for $10, and the Buckeyes in full HD. Football season is most definitely party season, and your headquarters is Harry Buffalo North Olmsted all winter long. Harry Buffalo, join the herd. Have you gotten your copy of Cleveland's Finest yet? Highlighting the best moments, players, and media members in Cleveland sports history?
He won it! Milo hit a three-pointer on the sideline!
In-depth personal interviews with some of the top names in Cleveland sports fill the pages of this incredible book. Cleveland's Finest by Vince McKee is this year's must-have book for every Cleveland sports fan. Available now at Amazon.com. Get your copy today.
Hey, everybody. Listen up.
Listen up, guys.
Hey, guys, listen up.
No one should ever hit a woman.
Not their wife, not their girlfriend, not their date. No woman should have to fear violence.
Especially not from someone they know and trust.
But that's the reality for too many women.
We have to change it.
It's up to each of us, because even one is too many.
Violence against women hurts all of us. Growing up, I was ashamed and afraid of my father when he abused my mom.
The worst abuse of power is when a man raises his hand to hurt a woman. We all have to take responsibility. So if you see someone threatening a woman, step up, speak out, and get help.
Dating violence hurts all of us. So step up and help end it. Because one is too many.
One is too many.
One is too many.
One is too many.
End the violence. Because it's wrong.
Because one is too many.
Merry Christmas, happy holidays, seasons, greetings, and blessings to each and every one of you from all of us here on the Sports Fix. Remember the true spirit of the season. We wish each and every one of you nothing but the best holiday. Enjoy your day and enjoy this very special best of the Sports Fix.
Hey, Cleveland, this is Reggie Germany, former Buffalo Bill and Ohio State wide receiver. Wanted to wish you and your family Merry Christmas and a happy holidays.
Welcome back to the Sports Fix, live across the Sports Fix Radio Network. J-Rock back with you as we go into the final portion of our interview with Cleveland Indians legendary radio voice Tom Hamilton. Such a great time talking to him about the Indians of the 90s, Glory Days in Tribetown, as the book is called, that he and Terry Pluto put together. It's fantastic. I'm looking at my copy right here on the desk. If you haven't, I mean, you've got a few days here. Pick up a copy today. It's perfect Christmas present or stocking stuffer for the Indians fan on your list. Let's get you back into that. See, I hooked him up with the plug. Now we're going to hook you up with the audio. The rest of that coming your way. Tom Hamilton, voice of the Indians. Tell us how you like it. Facebook.com/TheSportsFix. Tweet with us at TheSportsFixCLE. Email us, TheSportsFix@AOL.com, as you enjoy the final portion of our sit down with Tom Hamilton, voice of the Cleveland Indians, here on The Sports Fix. Looking to this Indians, the current era, Jonathan Knight and I, one of our sports writers that we have on, we were talking about this a couple of weeks ago with Corey Kluber winning the Cy Young and Brantley finishing top 3 in the MVP, and we were going, man, even back in the 90s period, you'd probably have to go all the way back to the 40s or 50s to find an Indians team that had, in both of those categories, somebody, in the 90s, you had a lot of people, Albert Bell, that you could have said were in the MVP conversation, but never a Cy Young candidate at the same time. And that's why I say, man, the window here is pretty good too, because those Indians that we think back and remember so fondly, they didn't have, the combination of both. And perhaps, but do you agree? Can you think of an era other than going back to the early days, way back to the 40s and 50s, of when the Indians had that combination in the same season? Because none of those 90s teams, as you said, had that Cy Young caliber dominant starter.
No, I would agree. I think that's why the future, I think, looks really bright for this ball club for a number of upcoming seasons. Corey Kluber, while winning the Cy Young, is winning it relatively early in his career. This is a guy that really has only 2 full seasons under his belt, so the Indians control him for the next 4 years. And when CC Sabathia won the Cy Young in 2007 and was now reaching the peak of his career, well, he was going to be a free agent the next year, and you knew he wasn't going to re-sign. And when Cliff Lee won the Cy Young in 2008. Again, free agency was relatively around the corner. He was going to be a free agent in 2 years. And I think those ball clubs also felt not only could they not re-sign those guys, and they were right, but because the ball club needed some help, they were going to try to trade those guys to maybe jumpstart the franchise and get some immediate talent that could pay immediate dividends. We're not in that case now. Not only do you have Corey Kluber for the next 4 years at a minimum, but you also have a ball club that doesn't need that immediate transfusion of talent. This is a talented ball club right now, ready to win. They've had back-to-back winning years, playoffs 2 years ago, came close again last season, and so you don't need to be trading that one key piece that you have because you need help in 3 or 4 other areas.
That was always the problem of the Indians over the dark years, was whenever they needed pitching, they would trade the hitting. And then when they needed hitting, they would trade the pitching. And it's that circle that never stops. And I'm with you. That's why I tell people, I understand why they get frustrated. People and you've mentioned it, even looking through the eras of this book, players leave and fans get frustrated as their favorites move on. And that's why you find a period like this in Glory Days in Tribetown that people latch onto and remember so fondly. But the future, I agree with you. Not just saying this as an Indians fan. I believe the future very bright for the next few years for this team because of that. And then that was one of the points there. I wanted to ask you something personally. You've been a long time here doing the broadcasting, and as a fellow broadcaster, I know how much time you're gone. You're in the studio, you're not home, etc., and you're traveling, which makes it even worse. How cool is it to come full circle, speaking of that term, and be able to do some things that involve your son and be there and see him as he's making his development as a baseball player? How cool were those moments for you?
Well, as a parent, there's nothing that will ever top that. I mean, all you want are your children to be healthy and happy and be able to pursue their dreams, and Nick was able to do that, and to watch him, play in a spring training game and face Major League pitching is, something that I know he'll never forget, and we certainly won't as a family. And you're always grateful for those moments, because it doesn't matter if your son is a would-be professional player or is, whatever, a lawyer, a doctor, a teacher. You just want them happy, and you want them to be able to pursue their dreams. And, it's a moment that it'll be hard to top.
And you know what, family?